Hey, welcome back to the channel. Once again, we're going to start our video this week on this landing area, which is, I can't get enough of that view, so why not start it here every week? But wanted to talk this week about openings that we have for this weekend, as well as openings that we have for next weekend. And next weekend is the Jericho ATV Festival, so we're only a week out from that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about all the openings that we have for the next 2 weekends. First and foremost, we have our beach rental camper, which you can see through the trees there. And that camper is a camper for 2 people, and it has openings both this weekend and next weekend. So if you are a party of 2, whether or not you're gonna come to do the ATV thing next weekend doesn't really matter. The great thing about that camper is you walk right out onto the beach every morning, and you don't have to climb any of the hills that we have here to get access to the beach. All right, moving on. I am standing right at the end of Site 4 and Site 5. So this is Site 5 right here. Again, this, as I've talked to you about in the past, this site is probably our least desirable of our RV sites because it can only accommodate campers up to about 20 to 22 feet. Site 4 is right behind it, and this can accommodate the longest of long campers. Site 3 has a very large camper in it right now, right there, but Site 4 can accommodate a camper just as long, and you have the great view as well. Particularly not so much where the camper sits, but outside your camper, the view gets a whole lot better. So yeah, that's Site 4, and Site 4 is actually not available at all for the next couple of weeks. But the site that the camper behind me is sitting on, that is Site 3. It is available for this upcoming weekend. The folks that are in it now are heading out before the weekend. Site 5 is also, which is right here next to Site 4, is also available this weekend, but it is not next weekend. Another site here on the landing that is also available this weekend, but is not available next weekend, is Site 1. This is Site 1 over here, right along the fence. You can see the meter and the power hookups and everything right here. And this landing area, it is very close to the road. There's a caveat there. But other than that, this site can accommodate very long campers as well. You also have that great view outside your camper. Now, yes, this site is very close to the road. However, once you stay here, you realize that this particular road, although as busy as it gets during the day, which is really not that busy, at night it becomes extremely quiet, and we only have maybe a handful of cars that go by through the entire night. So it's not as bad as you might think, being that close to the road. So the only issue is, a word of caution is if you have kids, small kids especially, Site 1 may not be a great option because with the proximity of the road. And pets, well, if your pets are properly leashed, that won't be a problem either, because no 6-foot leash is going to allow them to get out onto the road. So now, lastly, on the landing here, we have this camper. This is one of our rentals. It's a 34-foot camper, and this camper is not available this weekend. There's someone in it right now, but next weekend it is still available. It can sleep 8 people, so if you have a large party that wants to get one camper, that camper right there is the best one on the property for that. So that is it for the landing sites. So let us go ahead and move on to the rest of the campground. All right, as I'm walking back down the hill, we are coming up on our 2 cabins. Now, cabin 6 is not available at all the next 2 weekends. There's someone in it now and they're here through the weekend. And that one is cabin 6 down here. Cabin 8, which is right here. That cabin is available this weekend, but it is not available next weekend. So unfortunately, if you were looking to get one of our cabins for Jericho or this weekend, neither one of them are available this weekend. Now, as I spin around, behind me we have site number 7. This is one of our tent sites. This camper, or this site, is available both weekends. And this particular site does have power. It has water and sewer. It does not have power. But I am going to talk about power briefly for a minute. If you still don't have accommodations for Jericho weekend and you want to be on the ATV trails and you want to be within a 30-minute ATV ride of the center of all the festivities, so that you can ride right off your campsite and get into the festivities or get into the park, or even go north and avoid the big crowds altogether. What I'm going to do for Jericho weekend in particular is anyone who wants to add power to these tent sites, I can provide 15 amp power. It will be via an extension cord from another site, but I do have enough power cords that I can provide power to any of the 10 sites for anyone who is willing to pay an extra fee to get power brought to their site. It'll cost $15 a night extra on top of the price of the tent site in order to get power, but it is something that I'm willing to do. So if you were avoiding these 10 sites that we have simply because they don't have power, water, and sewer, then we have a solution to that, kind of on a temporary basis until I can get power permanently run to these sites. So site 7 already includes water and sewer, so if I brought the 15 amp power to that, you would be able to stay there. Another site that I can do that with is right here next to our rental camper on site number 9. This is site number 11 right here. This one I can also provide 15 amp power. So 15 amp is not going to be enough to run the air conditioner on a camper that takes a 30 amp connection. But the way we've had the weather this summer, I can tell you, I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've even turned on the air conditioner in both the house that I'm staying in and in my camper. And I've asked around the other campers here that have seasonal sites, and they're in the same situation. Most of these people have not been using their ACs much at all, partly because, you know, being here, we're largely in the shade, so it doesn't really get all that hot anyway. And being this far north in New Hampshire, while the rest of the country has been sweltering, today, for example, yeah, we're in the low 70s right now, and we're having a partly cloudy, partly sunny day. So, I mean, the weather has been, outside of the times that it's rained, the weather has been great. So, anyway, back to site 11. So this site here, it's actually a pretty big site, because you would have everything from this camper on to the left, and you can accommodate a pretty large camper in here. So if you did want to get power brought up to this site, I can bring power up here on a 15 amp circuit, just a single 15 amp power, and then you can use it as you will from there. This rental camper is available this weekend. It is not available Jericho weekend. So this is the largest camper that we have here on the property. It's like 38 feet long. It has a huge bathroom in it, and this whole back part is all bunks in the back side, and the main bedroom is to the right of the sliding glass door. It has a nice sliding glass door to the largest deck that we have on the property, and some great metal outdoor furniture. So very durable furniture, as you can see. it's a very nice setup. Yeah, we have that available here this weekend, but not for next weekend. All right, let's move on to the top of the hill. All right, let's first talk about the tent sites we have up here on the hill. We have this one over here, site number 13, which is directly across from our bathhouse. This site right here does have water and sewer already. And again, I can run power to it if you're willing to pay an extra $15 a night to get that power added to this site. That is a pretty good sized site. You've got plenty of room. You could do multiple tents on this site, or a decent sized camper up here would work. And then of course you have the bathhouse over here. And then up here, just up the hill from it, we have site number 15. And this site here is much smaller than 13. It does not have water or sewer on it. But again, I can bring power to it if you need. But access to water is right over there at the bathhouse, that kitchen sink, or inside the bathrooms you can get water if you need it. And then I could bring power up to this site for that extra fee. And then again over here you have site number 16, which is kind of tucked away in the woods. This is probably our most private of tent sites, because you can use your vehicle to block that entrance and have no neighbors beyond those woods back there. It's all woods back there. And then site number 17 is over here. This can accommodate a longer trailer. Neither of these sites have any hookups, but again, power is available if you need it. So those are our regular tent sites that we have available. And as far as availability for the next 2 weeks, sites 7, 11, 13, and 15 are all available this weekend. And as for next weekend, 7, 11, 13, and 15 are also available next weekend. Site number 17 is not available this weekend, but it is available next weekend. And site number 18, which I haven't showed you yet, is available this weekend, but it's not available next weekend. But last thing I want to talk about before we leave the hill up here is this right here. That is a new Wi-Fi antenna. We have completed a full upgrade of the Wi-Fi system in this park, which means you get a whole new Wi-Fi network. Previously, there was very poor Wi-Fi up here in the tent area. Now we have great Wi-Fi. Just about everywhere in the park, when I was running my speed tests after completing the upgrade, we were getting anywhere from 80 to 120 megabits per second on the speed tests, with the exception of the corner of the campground down at the bottom of the hill, because the signal originates from the office, which is at the bottom of this hill. The signal is the weakest down here at the bottom of the hill in those first couple of sites at the very bottom of the hill. It's still better than it was. Before, we were getting, on speed tests, I was getting 14 to 16 megabits per second. Now I'm getting closer to 50. So yeah, we have great Wi-Fi, and I challenge any campground in this part of the country, particularly the Great North Woods, that is going to have better Wi-Fi than what we have now. So yeah, if you wanted to come camping and you still had to do some work, we have great Wi-Fi now. And the best part about it, it's free. We don't charge for it. There's no vouchers. There's none of that BS that we had before. It is all included as part of your site fees. And it's just a great service that personally I feel should be part of the experience of camping in 2026, is to have decent Wi-Fi at your site, so that when everybody's settling down for the evening, you can turn on your favorite show and stream it and not have to worry about the internet not working well. So so far we've had one night so far of use. Of course, it spikes between 8 and 10 p.m. because that's when people are settling into their campers. And the network performed great. I didn't have any complaints today about any transmission issues, and I asked everybody, believe me. Another reason to come to our campground, I doubt you're going to have better Wi-Fi than what you'll find here at our campground. So anyway, let's move on to the RV sites down on the bottom of the hill. All right, let's talk about our affordable sites. Our 2 sites on the property, our 2 smallest sites. They're $20 a night. That is the regular price. That's not a promo. That's not a special. That is the regular price. This is one of them. This is site number 33. You got a little bit of a hill climb up here to get to this one. But we have this nice wooded, shaded tent site here. This is perfect for just a small little couple or a small family but it's just up the hill from where our road is, which is where my ATV is, and you just you would park basically right about where that ATV is on the grass right here, and then you just walk up the hill, and this is where your site is located. So it's a small little tent site. This is tent site number 33. And number 18 is a site that I just took a quick shot of on the way down the hill that I'm inserting right here into the video. And as far as availability on those sites, site number 18 and number 33 are both available this weekend. But as for Jericho weekend, neither one of those sites are available. They are both taken. So in terms of 10 sites for Jericho, all we have is our more expensive standard price sites available. But all of those sites are bigger than these 2. These 2 are pretty small. They can really only accommodate a very small group. I think I have the maximum number of people on these sites set at 4. Yeah, that's about all you're going to get on those sites. So anyway, let's talk about our camper hookup sites. 22, which starts at that tree right here and ends at the back of that camper over there where this trailer is currently parked. That site is available for this weekend, as is site number 26, which is a little bit smaller of a site. You can see it on the post there where the picnic table is, the fire pit. That site is also available for this weekend. But in terms of availability after that, all of our RV sites for Jericho weekend are taken. So we do not have any full hookup sites available that weekend, unfortunately. I wish I had more sites, but unfortunately I don't. Which is why I came up with the idea of running power to the sites up on the hill that are technically 10 sites. But I was going to go ahead and run power up on those so that we can get those sites filled with people that need a site but don't necessarily want to go without power. So we can make that happen for you. You just got to pay a little extra. So, all right, let's move on. All right, once again, we are going to finish with my personal camper, which is sitting here on site 31. For this weekend anyway, it's going to be on site 31. And this camper is available this weekend. I showed you the inside last week. So if you want to see the inside of this camper, go see last week's video and you'll see the tour that I put inside this camper. But in terms of this weekend, this camper is available this weekend, but it is not available next weekend. And next weekend, the people that have rented it will have this camper not here on site 31, which is relatively close to the road, but also very close to our public areas, which are right over here, the screen room and the pavilion. But I have to move this camper because somebody has rented this site 31 for the next 2 weekends after this weekend. So a week from today, I'll be moving this camper over to site number 24, which is up this road to the left, for 2 weeks. And then we'll be moving it back over here for the remainder of the season after those 2 weeks. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. So if you have any questions on anything, feel free to give us a call, 603-631-5753. If you want to book anything, you can call us and book, or you can go online and see all of the campers. I've updated all of the photos on the Camp Spot website to give you a better idea what each campsite and rental unit looks like. Something I'd been meaning to do. The pictures on that website on Camp Spot were very inadequate and just not enough to give anyone a good idea. But now if you go on there, you'll see all new photos and everything is all up to date and ready to go. So so yeah, go ahead and book online. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. With that, we're going to go ahead and end the video, and we'll see you next week. Talk to you later. Bye now.